Hi, I'm Augustus. I'm traveling the United States to listen to the people I meet and to tell them about my candidacy for President of the United States in 2028. I'm here in Annapolis, Maryland. I'm standing at the Maryland State House, a building of incredible history. It's the only state house to have served as the nation's capital, where the Continental Congress met, and where George Washington resigned his commission. Above us sits the oldest and largest wooden dome of its kind in the country, constructed without a single nail, held together by the strength of its design and the quality of its timber. Maryland's state motto is Fatti Mashki, Parole Feline, strong deeds, gentle words. To me, that is the perfect definition of leadership. It's the balance of having the backbone to take action while maintaining the decency to treat people with respect. Maryland is the Old Line State, a name earned by the bravery of the Maryland Line during the Revolutionary War. It's a state known for the bounty of the Chesapeake, from world-famous Maryland blue crabs and Old Bay to the tradition of Smith Island cake, a miniature America where you can go from the Atlantic beaches to the Appalachian Mountains in a single afternoon, and a spirit of innovation, from the historic docks of the Port of Baltimore to the cutting-edge research at Johns Hopkins and the aerospace hubs that power our future. But it isn't just geography or history that makes Maryland vital. It is the resilience of Marylanders, people who know how to weather a storm, who value their community, and who understand that strong deeds are what actually move a family forward. This is the 40th capital of my 50 plus 1 capitals tour. My plan seems obvious and necessary to me, but for other presidential candidates, it could be considered unnecessary, maybe even a waste of time. The plan is to visit every capital in this country over the course of about 60 days, not to give motivational speeches, but to listen. To hear about the current $1.4 billion budget deficit and how it's affecting your schools, to hear the debate over the blueprint for Maryland's future, and to hear about the rising energy costs that are squeezing households as our power grid struggles to keep up with new demands. It's time we make the security of the families who are currently holding this whole country up on their tired shoulders the country's top priority. Unfortunately, it seems we're being led by people who only care about the next 24 hours, while you're focused on the next 24 years. They're focused on their bank accounts, and you're focused on feeding your family. To lead in Maryland, you have to be honest enough to say what everyone already feels. When people who harvest our bay, teach our children, and run our small businesses can't afford to live in the communities they serve, something is broken. It isn't about the system anymore. It's about the fact that hard work in this state used to buy you a future, and now it barely buys you a month of breathing room. To lead the whole country, you have to know the whole country. And you can't know the country from a high-flying jet, a speeding motorcade, or a gilded office in D.C. You have to cross the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, admire the views along the Pacific Coast Highway, cross the mighty Mississippi, and visit the beautiful Smoky Mountains. Having lived in 7 states and visited all 50 states at least once before, I think I have a glimmer of understanding of who we, the people of the United States, are. But you can never stop learning. That's why I'm visiting each state again, and why I will continue to do so, both during my campaign and during my time in office. Now you might be thinking, who is this guy? As I said, I'm Augustus. I was born in New York State 65 years ago. Like you, I've spent much of my life working. I've seen presidents come and go, and industries rise and fall. And I've seen as the people who actually make this country run are treated as sheep and cattle, not human beings. We've stopped looking at the person behind the work, and it's time we started seeing the human being again. You may be asking yourself, is he qualified? The Constitution says I am. You need to decide for yourself what qualified means to you. To me, being qualified means working as hard as I can to help the most people possible. Think about the people who meet in this Capitol or in Washington, D.C. How many of them are qualified in your eyes? How many of them are working to make your housing affordable or your prescription drugs manageable? It seems to me that many representatives have forgotten the primary requirement of their jobs, remembering who they represent. They shouldn't represent the lobbyists, they shouldn't represent their party, and they definitely should not represent the ultra-rich. Your representatives and the President of the United States should represent you, period. I stand for the people, not for corporations that treat employees like disposable parts, not for the rich who treat the law as a suggestion, and not for the special interests who think their way is the only way. I believe in a land of freedom and opportunity, not a land where out-of-state interests squeeze the life out of the towns you've called home for generations. Why consider an unaffiliated, unconventional candidate like me? Maybe because you're exhausted. You're sick of having to choose between generic candidate A and generic candidate B, neither of whom has had to decide between a medical bill and a grocery run. While a vote for a candidate who isn't a member of one of the 2 major parties can be scary, isn't it scarier to have to choose between bad and worse? Choose to vote for someone who will actually work to make your lives better. Vote from compassion, not fear. I'm headed to Dover, Delaware next. I have 10 capitals and hundreds of miles yet to go. When you see me in your state later this year, don't just take a picture. Come over and say hello. Tell me what's keeping you up at night. Tell me what you want for your children. I'm Augustus, and I'm here to listen. I'll see you in the state where you live. Okay, gonna rock this out because I've been talking to 4 people and I need to get going. And to tell them about the Maryland state motto is Fati Maschi Parole Feline, or something like that. Do you guys want to go by? So let's try that again.